Yeah.
Okay, I have 6:30. Are we recording? Okay, I would like to call the Baldwin City Council meeting for November 12th to order. If you will stand and join me for the pledge. Father God, thank you for bringing us together on this day. Thank you for watching over our citizens, our city, our first responders. Please bless our birthday boy who wants to remain nameless this evening. We love him. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda tonight, we have a large ceremony, coffee ceremony today. It's exciting. We have the swearing in of post 2 candidate, now officially Nancy Lehman. Nancy, how do we want to stick the video? Where do you want Nancy so folks at home can see?
Do you want me to hold the iPad?
Last time you did that.
Okay.
I think we'll be here. Can we get everybody? Okay. We have 2 oaths that Nancy will have to say tonight, first to the city and then to the state. So bear with us for a moment. If you will raise your right hand, please. I, Nancy Lehman, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member for the city of Baldwin, Georgia, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and the United States of America. Very good. Raise your right hand, please. I, Nancy Lehman, a citizen of the city of Baldwin, situated in Habersham County, Banks County, Georgia, and being an elected official of the city of Baldwin, Georgia, and a recipient of public funds for services rendered, as such employee, do hereby solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're on the council.
That's it. You're official.
Oh, he was looking ranch.
Okay. For the folks who are listening at home, by the way, we now have a full council. Councilman Dentzer is ill, but he is with us on the phone tonight, so he is with us. The next item on our agenda is the fire department promotion. Chief?
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're here tonight because we need some money.
Yeah.
So we've had a promotion within the ranks of the fire department, and so we're here to do an official promotion. Mason, if you would come up here, please. Mason Murray started with us in 2016 as a volunteer. Then he went full-time in March of 2021. He currently holds many certifications. Just to name a few: NVQ certs with the state of Georgia, Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Hazmat Operations, Apparatus Operator, and Instructor 1. Mason has already met all the requirements for the lieutenant's position. tonight we're here to finalize his position as lieutenant. And he is actually already on the ship, running that ship, and making them boys do the work. Make official as far as tonight. Congratulations to Lieutenant. And here's a nice dirty red helmet for you. It might stink like fire, but if you got a problem with that, just let us know. Make them watch it.
Move on for the website. Say 1, 2, 3.
All
Stay
right.
there.
That's all my work.
Nice, all right. Congratulations.
And that's all we got. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda tonight is consent agenda. How many of us take all these together? Yes? Okay, everybody's had a chance to approve the minutes, or to read the minutes. And we also have recognition of revenue that is in your packet.
So it was just 1,400?
Oh, yeah, it's in the packet. It's 1,400 in fire reimbursement and 17,719 is the homestead relief grant that Governor Kemp signed into law last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Venter, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilwoman Davis, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Any citizens having business with the council, please come forward, state your name and address. Hearing none, we will move on to old business. Mr. Augusta. First item under old business is approval of the 2025 council meeting calendar. Everybody's had a chance to see this, it was on this work session. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the 2025 council meeting calendar as presented?
Martin.
I have a motion from Councilman Venter, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilman Keith, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Second item under old business is consideration approval of ARPA fund obligation.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks, you guys. All right. Last week we discussed obligating ARPA funds before the end of the year due to the ARPA funding requirements. There was a couple of projects that we thought we would have completed that we were unable to complete in the time frame required for those funds. And so we discussed last week what it looks like to obligate those funds in a different way towards other projects that the city feels confident we can contract by the end of the year. And it is on, there's a page number, but it is the breakdown. It looks like this for ARPA in your packets. The first step to this, last week in council work session, we discussed unobligating funds and reobligating funds for the solid scaling building. And just a second, I did not have Aaron write it in, but the solid handling building, we had originally obligated $558,000 to that project, and we were not able to complete that. So let me give you the total. We are still proposing to pay for I'm trying to get the screw press out of ARPA funds. There, originally, the council had committed $387,000 to the screw press, which was a part of that $558,000 for the solids handling building, and now we are just requesting for. So the original request, my apologies, it was $382,198 for the screw press, and there was a change order earlier this year for. I knew there was something I was forgetting today. And this was it. Yeah, it was. And of course, I didn't bring that packet with me.
Last week's event. Maybe next has it. Yeah, Nancy has it.
Oh my God.
We'll get there. Sorry. What? Oh, the paint project for 189, was that dropped off?
Not yet. We haven't gotten
We
there.
haven't gotten there yet.
So the total cost for the screw press is $508,556.50. And so my request tonight is to authorize that dollar amount to modify the purchase order to complete that transaction with the contractor. So, go ahead.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the current purchase order that we have for the screw press is that $387,000 number, and we're requesting to add that additional $55,000, which brings it to $508,556.50
Oh, okay. Yeah.
to cover that cost entirely for the screw press. But allowing us to fund this, it will allow us to execute the change order so that we can complete that purchase for the screw press. Does that make sense?
So
We talked about it last week, and I apologize for not bringing it up. So it's a part of ARPA. Originally, we had approved $558,000.
Right.
And so we're requesting to reduce that amount, and to allow the rest of those funds to be obligated somewhere else. So technically, as of today, $558,000 is obligated to the solids handling building, and we have to release the $50,000 or so that is still remaining on the ARPA.
For the solids building or the screw press?
It's the same project.
Okay.
So the
it's
screw press,
total, okay.
yes.
And the way it was, you put it out was
Sorry.
like, there were two different things. So the whole project was the 558. So really, totally, it's $120,000 reduction in
No,
total. Yeah. 558. Well.
to 508. So originally,
The screw press was
3 years ago, when we approved
Yeah.
this project, we anticipated the
Yeah.
entire cost was going to be $558,000.
Yeah.
We bid it out this summer, it came back significantly higher than that.
Yeah.
We're not able to fund it yet, but we do want to move forward on the screw press because it's
Okay.
already being manufactured.
Yeah.
So
So
total,
originally, the screw press was 387, but it's like $55,000 more.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And then the difference in there is just the engineering, design fees and all of that that has been
Yeah.
included since
Yeah.
the start of the project.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. No, that's okay. I want to make sure I have it right.
So that's the first request, is to unobligate that and, by authorizing the execution of the change order.
Do we want to do that first?
I would, and then we can go through the list.
All right, so I need a motion to authorize the execution of the change order, is that
Mhm.
correct?
You ready for it?
To $508,556.50. Yes, you make that motion.
Mm-hmm.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Venture, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilwoman Lehman.
Oh, that sounds good.
carries unanimously. Okay.
All right, so now the list, we have $319,000 and $319,948 in ARPA funds that have to be allocated or obligated by the end of this year. At the work session last week, we discussed a couple of options for those funds. We were hopeful to have a few of those estimates back today. I don't have them. However, they are still on the list. So the ones that are listed today that have totals are the erosion control measures for the raw water intake building, the two-way radio system for public works, the CIP update for the entire enterprise, the zone meter planning for $15,000, the pole barn for the public works building for $35,000, the breathing air system for the fire department for $58,000, and then email conversion and codification for general admin at $28,000. Those we don't anticipate changing as long as this list, if the council is okay with this list, and we, if this is approved tonight, we'll go forward in contracting these projects to get a final total. So this is not the contracting of these projects, it is only allowing the city to move forward in pursuing those contracts. The three that are still on there that we are still waiting on, we just don't have a total for, are the interior painting of the water plant, the air relief valves on the force main on 365, and then the pressure reducing valve maintenance in the south side section of our system. So those are on there, they do not have totals. If you would like for us to explore them or to not explore them, that is your decision today.
I'm really excited about the CIP update. Going through in our retreat, that needs to happen. Really excited about the zone meter planning. Yeah, all of that's great.
And the erosion control.
And the erosion control. Necessary.
Well, they're all important items.
Yeah.
I have a question. What was the pole barn? Remind me again why that was a part of the original construction of our new project over there?
There was a lot of items cut from the public
Was
works
that
building.
budget? Is that what the deal was?
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of that? To store?
I believe this pole barn is to store the actual equipment.
Yep, keep it out of the weather. Because it's been just
Where
like
they
in the
keeping it
elements.
now?
In the elements.
Well, no, they're at the pole barn. They're at the, not pole barn.
Street shot.
Yeah, they're at the street shop, but they're under. Yeah, they're still open air, but
There's a word for
yeah.
it.
Well, a lot of our stuff still has been in the elements. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want a motion to approve this as listed?
If the council is in agreement with this list, we will proceed on all of them.
Okay, and then for the ones that are TBD at the next meeting, if,
Well, if you guys are okay with us pursuing it, as long as it's within the budget, they'll come before council with a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we're at 214, 949.
So basically $100,000 to do.
Yeah, so we have 100,000 left unobligated, but by the end of month meeting, we should have something to obligate it.
And the things that are up for grabs for the 100K is the painting, the air relief valves, the pressure reducing valve maintenance. Those are the three things.
Yeah,
that
so this is the
are gonna be
direction.
fighting for the 100K.
Yeah, unless something comes back
Yeah.
and we decide it's just not enough at all, and we can present something else to the
Okay.
council. But all of these projects still have to come before council through a contract. So nothing is decided, it's just us moving forward.
okay, can I have a motion to approve the opera funds obligation list as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Venter, do I have a second? Second. I have a second from Councilwoman Davis, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to new business, consideration approval of police department vehicle additions.
Yes. So we have 2 vehicles that we are requesting to add to our police department fleet. This has always been a part of the plan.
Yeah.
We had anticipated buying 1 vehicle last year. That did not happen, and so it's just 2 in this budget cycle. The 2 vehicles, one is for our second K-9, and the other one is an admin vehicle, so that we can upgrade another vehicle, the current admin vehicle to a police vehicle. We have 8 police officers? 7 police officers?
No.
9 total.
Nice.
We have 9 that all need vehicles. We still have 2 2017 Explorers that we do not want to invest any more money in. And so this is par for the course. One of the requests that we made of council when we approved the lease program 2 years ago, we had a funding mechanism for the first couple of years, and then come year 2025 or fiscal year 2025, those costs would start to be borne in the general fund's budget. So we had 3 different funding mechanisms, the first being SPLOST 7, the second being public safety funds, and the third being the general fund. For the fire department, if you'll recall, the fire truck that we purchased via lease, that is still being funded through public safety funds. However, the police vehicles are being funded, or proposed to be funded, through the general fund this year. So we have that budgeted. This is just us bringing these agreements before council for approval.
And these are open-end equity leases, which means after 3 years, basically the equity that we earn in these leases through enterprise pays for the 4th year, all right? Cool. I think that's such a great, and the amount of money that we were spending on the maintenance of our, we went through $10,000 like that, just trying to keep them on the road and keeping our officers safe. And actually out there performing their duties. So these have maintenance, and warranties and things like that. So
These are also
it's a
Silverados.
win-win.
These are not Tahoes.
Yeah.
It's 2 Silverados.
So
Yeah.
that's great. We get to pack up fall festival stuff. Now y'all got to help the fire department. Yeah. We're gonna throw all the games on the back of the truck.
So I'm like, tell me again, are these replacing the 2017s or are these in addition to what the fleet we have now?
They're replacing them.
They're replacing. What'll happen to the old one?
We're gonna go deal.
Get stripped,
Yeah.
sold. I'm not sure they'll sell
That sounds
anything.
horrible, doesn't it?
Can I share about the one, Emily?
Sure.
So, as we spoke at the last council meeting, Ms. Venture spoke about being frugal.
Mhm.
So we talked about being frugal, and we talked about the 2 2017 Explorers,
Yes.
and how we didn't want to put any more money into them.
Mm.
I mean, they're money pits. Well, a few days later, the engine actually blew in one of the 2017s. It's done. So you're looking at an engine replacement, be $12,000 minimum.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with the rest of the vehicle, transmission, you don't know how long that's gonna last. So this is time,
You get cheap and then you get inexpensive. And they're 2 very different things.
correct? And then safety gets intermingled in between that, and someone gets hurt or in a wreck,
That's
then
the
we're
issue.
all responsible for that.
Yeah.
So are these available to us?
They're waiting.
Yeah.
Actually, so Brian Chevrolet, so it basically puts us, everybody will be in a Chevrolet except our investigator. And we've got a plan that that'll be shared later as to how we're gonna correct that as well.
Okay, sounds good. Any more questions? Can I have a motion to approve the lease agreement for 2 additional police department vehicles through Enterprise with a monthly cost of $3,444.40 to be expensed from the FY 25 funds and to authorize the CAO to execute the agreement as presented?
So move.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Venture. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilwoman Davis. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank
thank y'all. We got night first, so we gotta run the call.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Thank you.
We'll move on to announcements. The city offices will be closed November 28th and 29th for the Thanksgiving holiday. The third annual Baldwin Thanksgiving Community Potluck Dinner will be on November 28th, starting at 4:30 at the Baldwin Fire Department. This potluck is open to all Baldwin residents, and we will provide turkey and ham and ask that guests bring a favorite dish to share. Please RSVP to 470-208-9842 with the number of guests and the dish for the menu. The Baldwin Christmas tree lighting will be on Friday, December 6th at 6 p.m. Bring in the Christmas season with Christmas carols by Baldwin Elementary School Choir as we light the tree and enjoy free pictures with Santa, free cookies and cocoa, free train rides around the park.
Nice.
Yeah. Are there any announcements from council?
Oh,
Would you like to do your update?
sure, yeah, absolutely. So, thank you, Mayor, I appreciate that. So, we actually just visited the fire department. We have an entire trailer full of donations. Thank you very much. They're very much needed. I did spend, not this past weekend, but the previous weekend, I spent in the very sweet little town of Valdez, North Carolina, working with Patriot Relief. Thank you to the Northeast Georgian for putting that very nice large article out there. That was a humongous help. Patriot Relief was able to put together, our goal was to put together 30. We're calling them tractor sheds, but I'll just be perfectly honest, they are to get people out of the elements. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of people, as we all know, had complete loss of their homes. We saw homes with trees that were through the middle of them, homes that had water lines way above our heads, mold, things just absolutely destroyed, mud this thick, vehicles, complete loss. But one family we were able to help has 6 children. These are 8x12 sheds. They did come with generators that the Sylvan Oak Foundation, which is out of Raven County, was able to give us enough for 30 of these sheds. We did actually produce 23 of them. It was a lot to bite off and chew to try to do 30 in one weekend. We did get 23 out. We do plan on doing a second build to finish out with, you know, the rest of those, the remaining of those. But we also found through all of this and having to work through the network of people and vetting people who actually did have a legitimate need, we've got 2 lists of people. One, there are 25 families, not people, but 25 families who had a complete loss of their property. And then there's a second list in Mitchell County of 35 families. Keep in mind, these are in addition to other organizations like Patriot Relief, like Cabins for Christ. The Amish have also been coming down and building buildings for people. So these sheds that we put together were insulated. They had a generator, they had a little refrigerator, they had a propane heater, they had a dual fuel, that's really hard to say by the way, dual fuel stove, camping potty, they came with beds, just, you know, bedding kits, comfort items that would allow people to feel some sort of normalcy, because as you can imagine, the mental anguish that it accompanies losing everything and witnessing an event such as this. So it was a very significant event, and there were a lot of people that were extremely thankful. But one thing that I will tell you about Mountain Folks is that they're very proud, and they would rather, I mean, literally this woman with 6 children said, if there are others out there that are in more need than myself, please say, who's in more need than 6 children? Who's in more need than 6 children? I get goosebumps. The heart of these people and their concern for everyone else other than themselves is astounding. It's astounding. And I will say that a lot of the relief is starting to move out of the area. So FEMA and other organizations are starting to say, okay, you know, we've done what we could, there's still so much more to be done. A big need is for people who have tree services is huge because these people can't start to rebuild what's left of their homes with these trees through them. So there's a need for tree services. There's still a need for people who have earth moving equipment that can clear areas where these sheds can actually be put down. I have to say that the transporters that were bringing these sheds in were really, those are some woolly booger people. Listen, they are not afraid of these hills and the challenges that it is to try to get these places onto these structures onto people's onto their properties. So very thankful we do for that. We still need people to clear. We still need a lot of the donations that we mentioned in the beginning had really flooded the area, have been consumed, so they're starting to need things like paper products, and they still need food and cleaning supplies and diapers and things like that. But also we need building materials, and people who are looking to donate money can do so to these organizations. Patriot Relief is a 501c3, so is Cabins for Christ. But what we're seeing also with some of these distribution centers, one in particular in Burnsville, instead of bringing in money, they're asking people to donate to a lumber yard where there's a little kitty where people can say, hey, I need this and this and this to repair my home or to put something together, make a plan. Okay, here's your voucher for these items, go to this lumber yard, go to this hardware store. Another thing that's needed are dehumidifiers, because people who had flooding in their homes, they're now dealing with black mold. And mold of any type, whether it's toxic black mold or any other organic growth, is bad for the respiratory system. It is bad for your people are getting skin infections, eye infections, upper respiratory infections, and things like that. So that's another challenge, and there just isn't anyone other than the actual communities coming together to help these folks. So Baldwin is still committed. I know this is long-winded to tell, I'm sorry. Baldwin is still committed to helping in the long term, so we're still accepting donations. I do think that we need to update our Amazon wish list and some of the things as those needs have changed. So I really just thank our community.
Well, I know that the people around here want to make sure that they are donating to a legitimate
Yes,
cause.
please, yes.
You mentioned the lumber yards, for
Mhm.
example.
Mhm.
I don't know which ones.
So, I mean,
Yes,
yes.
how can we find out if we wanted to contribute
Yes.
that way?
So that is a list of things that I can actually get and we can put up on our website. Also keep in mind that Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming. I have been asked to task the Christmas effort of Patriot Relief, and so that's something that we can also put together.
Can you also talk about Representative Anderson's?
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. So Representative Anderson, he probably doesn't want me to, I'm gonna say it anyway. He was very generous in that, he and his wife Kimberly provided carpet and padding, which we were able to cut in a way where people can actually take it out of the shed and shake it out, because as you can imagine, they don't have vacuum cleaners. And so he provided that, and there was more than enough to provide for all of those sheds, and we're just very thankful. I think that shows that Representative Anderson is a true public servant, and he didn't hesitate when I came to him for that need. He said, absolutely, we'll make it happen. So,
Okay, so, yeah, we'll look forward to your update on our website, legitimate places to send
yes,
our money.
legit, but yes.
And
yes.
also, we should be thinking about Christmas through Patriot Relief. We can talk to you about that.
Yep.
Okay. And remember, there's no sanitary service in
No.
these.
There's no sanitary service, and as a matter of fact, I did see on Mitchell County, on their website, that they were starting to pull out the showers and the warm meals and things like that. They're actually saying, okay, as of Saturday, we are going to be gone.
So, yeah, people distress.
Yeah,
All right, so Baldwin's gonna double down on its efforts.
Mhm.
Excellent. Anything else from council? I just want to remind folks, Justin, our assistant police chief, was able to put into the police department a folder or box where you can put your old pills.
Yes.
If you have old pills that are sitting around your house that need to be disposed of and you don't know how to dispose of those, you can go to the police department and put them in a proper disposal. And
Just
that's,
please don't flush them.
please don't flush them.
Yeah.
And, yeah, please don't flush, or leave them in your house. And that box, that service is not being used as much as it could be. So just a reminder that that is there. Any announcements from staff?
I have a question.
Sir?
Were these in something that I missed, these leases that we approved? Like, I have the agenda that was sent out last,
For the
4 days ago, but this,
vehicles?
but like the paper, right? I was just curious.
We just received it tonight.
So is there any way we can, so something like this we could see in the future before we?
We didn't get them until 5:35
Oh.
this
you
evening,
said.
yeah.
So maybe,
So we had an original one, but it didn't have the right numbers in it, so we had to get them to correct it.
yeah, because it's, I mean, you can just look at the numbers, but there's a lot that goes with it. It's something that I would have liked to have seen beforehand, but
That makes sense.
I was just curious if that, something we could do in the future, please.
Generally,
It has been the goal of the CAO to get us that info as soon as we can. I know we were scrambling after work session to get the ARPA funding, but, you know, we had the engine blow on the Tahoe, we were scrambling for things this week. So
Right.
it is our intention to get it to council as soon as possible.
I think but it wasn't, it was, Enterprise that was
Was the
delayed
problem,
in the,
yeah.
right, it wasn't,
Not
it wasn't
us.
city staff, it was Enterprise, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what, I take for granted the fact that I've already seen these leases with the other 6 that we've done, so I apologize, I.
Well,
probably
no,
could have
no,
explained
it's
that
no,
more.
upset or I'm just
Yeah,
wondering why we're just seeing, because now that I'm
We
reading
just got
through
it.
this, I have questions.
yeah.
But it's already been
Yeah.
approved, so
Yeah.
anyway, okay.
You know, and.
You can cancel it.
You can.
You don't have to-
No, it's okay, I just,
So-
it's something I definitely would like to have reviewed before.
Yeah.
I just saw it and had to,
So just, well, you don't though. You can actually,
Oh, I
we've got a
realize
new
that.
council member, you know, if you aren't sure about something, you can abstain from voting, you don't have to. Or, you know, like, hey, can we actually bring this to another meeting? Of course, we really need the vehicles, like, right this second.
Right.
And that's the other thing, we were
Yeah.
backed into a corner because 2 of our vehicles are down.
Yeah.
And so we have to get something so that
right.
our chief isn't operating in a vehicle that doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So it
understand.
is extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, no,
that-
it's just more of a question, I guess, more than anything. Stuff like this, I'd like to see well in advance.
Yeah, oh, we would too.
Well, I have one, I want to thank Emily. At the last minute, I had questions regarding the funds that we were voting on this evening, and she got back to me and answered my questions, and I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Keith, and I have a second from Councilman